this was really a shock. I mean, you've heard about, oh, so-and-so and Durk is behind this and Durk is behind that. But ultimately, he's managed to really stay out the way. He just got the key to the city to Chicago a few days ago. They took it back.
Took it back today. They took it back. And disassociated themselves. So it's like, it's another hit because that was a way out for a lot of youngsters in the streets. That door is closed. You got Diddy going through what he's going through. And Durk just starting his climb. They're claiming they got wiretaps. I think ultimately they came to get him because they was like, they seen the change. They seen that like, okay, this dude is going all the way clean, straight. He's probably not going to
He turned Muslim, like hardcore Muslim. You see him with the robes and everything else like that. And I'm sure this probably contributed to it. I'm sure this in the back of his head. Because they ultimately killed the wrong person on top of it.
Well, I mean, I believe he might have been, I don't know. Was he out pumping the gas?
I'm not sure.
Or was he in the back seat? I don't know where he was at. But with that type of firepower, they really, they attempted to kill whatever was in there. The scary part about this is that intersection, and you're dealing with guns with switches on them.
Yeah, that's a huge charge in and of itself.
Brother, that intersection is very busy, right? Them bullets is flying, right? Anybody could have got hit.
Easy.
That, it's everything right there in that intersection, right? So thank God that didn't happen. Condolences to the family of the young man that was killed. And then, Quando, man, that's it. In the back of his head, once again, he feels like he's responsible. He semi-survived it with Lil Tim because Lil Tim ultimately beat the case. But that was a stress.
That was because of Stand Your Ground in Georgia.
Was it Stand Your Ground or they couldn't prove what bullet killed him? Because I believe security fired on him too. Security of the club was fired.
I had read it was Stand Your Ground.
Got you.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but even at that, it was a period of time that his friend was on, had a murder charge.
Exactly.
Right? So I know he's looking at himself like, why me? Everything around me, everything tied to me. Something has to happen. Why is this happening? And I don't think Quando does, I don't know, he hasn't been like a ruthless guy to where you just want to, you know what I mean?
No, man, listen, his friends, were doing what they're doing. We even talked about his current case that he had to plead guilty for, his Fed case. And it was like around drug dealing and so forth. And it was like, okay, it's clear Quando was not drug dealing. He has an album with NBA Youngboy. His streams are crazy. He's got multiple songs with over 100 million streams. He does shows. He's successful in his own right. They hemmed him up with what people around him were doing on their own time. And that's the unfortunate part. And the other part that's sort of weird to me is I've been around Durk. I've interviewed him twice. We've hung out a little bit here and there. I don't get that energy being around him that this is a ruthless, gangster, killer type dude. And I've been around, he's not a very tall guy, but I've been around short people before. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was around Jimmy Henchman, you could feel that energy. Okay, this guy's not physically big, but you push him a certain type of way and, you could see what's going to happen.
Jimmy was pretty good about camouflaging.
Nah.
You just knew who Jimmy was.
Okay, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe his reputation spoke.
Jimmy was pretty humble. Jimmy was a tall dude in stature. He didn't say too much. He wasn't an aggressive speaking dude. He was a stern speaking dude.
Right.
But he didn't really come off with the Suge Knight effect.
All right, so maybe his reputation preceded him.
Yeah,
so maybe, I'll give you that.
If you knew his reputation, you automatically stepped into the situation.
No, you're right. Because remember, I was around him in Game when, before, you were rocking with Game during the first album. I was part of that rollout. That was my first video project ever, was the Devil's Advocate with me, Game, and New Jersey Devil. So I was in the studio with them. I was at their hotel rooms and everything else like that. So that's when I first met Jimmy. But you're right. I had heard about Jimmy beforehand, and yeah.
But then again, you know how the feds work. We don't care how many chickens or turkeys you pass out.
Yeah.
We don't care how many book bags you didn't pass out. What we care about is these wiretaps. We care about these confidential informants, and we care about your actions within the means of the law. That's all they care about. Let's be real. Every drug kingpin that we know back in the 60s and 70s and 80s all passed out turkeys to the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that didn't eliminate the fact that you were passing out kilos and kilos of drugs to the neighborhood.
Right.
So, it ain't like, okay, how many turkeys did he pass out versus how much drugs did he sell? That's not a factor, right? The factor is, did or didn't you break the law? In this situation, I believe he fell victim to the propaganda of the naysayers of when you gonna slide for Vaughn.
Yeah. Hashtag slide for Vaughn was in all his mentions, I'm sure. But the same people that are saying slide for Vaughn are now saying you're stupid for sliding for Vaughn.
That's what
I'm
they're
saying?
gonna do.
This is how life works. This is how life works. This is why I try to avoid comments as much as I can, because no matter who you listen to, they will clown you either way.
You can't care about the things that they want you to care about. You have to stay focused on the things that you're supposed to care about.